We have come to the ultimates of the day, and it is the formal launch of the website. To do this is no less a person than our Honorable Minister, Honorable Kojo Oponkroma, Minister for Information.
Chief Director at the Ministry of Information, Ms. Andrews, Acting Chief Information Officer, Ms. Osuamwa, Directors here at the Ministry and the ISD, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm delighted to welcome you all to this event, and it's one that is very important to us here at the Ministry of Information and the Information Services Department. And to start off, I want to outline the 6 major things that we are focused on here at the Ministry of Information in accordance with our mandate, and to situate today's event within the framework of our 6 focal priorities. Number 1 is our government communications function, which is to support ministries, departments, and agencies to provide governance information to stakeholders regularly and promptly. And it's executed through our ministers' press briefings, our State of the Regions reports, the State of the Agencies reports, and the representation of government spokespersons on mass media platforms regularly. Number 2 is our media support programs, which are designed to help build a stronger media ecosystem for the Ghanaian democracy. It's executed through 2 programs: the Media Capacity Enhancement Program, which provides financial support for industry players to train practicing journalists, and the Coordinated Mechanism for the Safety of Journalists, which assists the National Media Commission in developing a strong framework to protect the work of journalists in Ghana. Number 3 is to oversee the implementation of the Right to Information Act, Act 989. And this has been done by deploying 250 information officers across ministries, departments, and agencies, and supporting the Right to Information Commission to oversee and, where necessary, sanction MDAs that fail to comply with the law. And here I must say that we are very proud of the work that our 250 information officers and the RTI Commission are doing. Our 4th task here at the Ministry is to provide a platform for channeling feedback to the executive branch of government. And this is done through regular scientific surveys conducted by the newly established Research Department of the Information Services Department. It's also done by engaging stakeholders at town hall meetings and policy summits to get inputs and feedback for consideration in policy and program formulation, implementation, and assessment. Our 5th job here at the Ministry and the Department is to represent the state-owned media in Parliament. And here I need to be clear. It must be noted that the state-owned media, by virtue of the provisions of Article 167C of the Constitution 1992 and Section 21C of the National Media Commission Act 1993, Act 449 of 1993, the state-owned media is insulated from government control. The boards and management administer them under the supervision of the NMC. The Ministry of Information plays a perfunctory representation role in Parliament when they have to appear before Parliament. In recent months, however, we have secured a $3 million grant from the African Development Bank to assist the Ghana News Agency in rolling out a business and economic news project, which should make it the leading audiovisual hub for business and economic news about the Ghanaian economy. We are also assisting the boards of Graphic and Times in exploring new ways of injecting capital into their operations and becoming more competitive. But as I mentioned, these entities are independent. Our final task is what brings us here today, which is to supervise the work of the Information Services Department. Today's launch is in furtherance of the combined objectives 6 and 1, which are supervising the ISD and supporting ministries, departments, and agencies to communicate regularly. Ladies and gentlemen, the Information Services Department was established in the latter part of 1939, that's 84 years ago, as a branch of the Colonial Government Secretariat dedicated to conveying news on the Second World War to the people of the then Gold Coast. This was done by producing a weekly journal dubbed The Empire at War. After the war, it remained as a public relations department with oversight responsibility for the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, the Ghana News Agency, and the Ghana Film Industry Corporation until they were decoupled to form separate entities. In accordance with the recommendations made by the Kuse Committee constituted to investigate the 1949 disturbances, the Gold Coast government reorganized the department into the Department of Information and transformed it into an information disseminating unit to bridge the communication gap between the government and the governed. The department, famous for its iconic green and yellow vans and usually described as Abansini, has over the years earned immense credit and won wide acclaim as the authentic voice of government, particularly in rural communities in the country. The ISD provides critical public relations and public education support in collaboration with relevant public organizations on a regular basis. A few of the notable successes of the department on major national projects include providing sensitization and education for the construction of the Akunsumbo Dam, the reintroduction of VAT 17% after previous failed attempts, seamless introduction of the new Ghanaian currency in 2007, among others, including the sensitization campaign for the referendum held in connection with the creation of the 6 new regions, and the public education campaign on the electronic transactions levy in recent times. The department has been doing this through the use of various public education campaign strategies and the deployment of public relations professionals and regional and district information officers to MMDAs and MDAs. Ladies and gentlemen, the department is currently represented in all the 16 regions and 164 ISD districts. There are 261 general districts, but we have 164 districts that we are working through. Gradually, we will align our districts with the national district map. Despite the successes that have been chalked in the delivery of their mandate over the years, the department has lost some steam, mostly due to 2 main factors. 1, the inability of successive administrations to equip it, and 2, the inability of the department to keep up with the ever-changing media landscape and the technology that goes along with it. In response to this difficulty and to make the department relevant in contemporary times, Cabinet has approved a program for the department to undergo vigorous retooling and reorganization to meet the needs of the present day. So far, we have, as part of this reorganization, established a state-of-the-art research department, an ultra-modern public relations coordinating division, and the media division, which rolls out its first project today. All these are geared towards positioning the department to become a very vibrant institution for the dissemination of authentic information on government in order to keep the public well informed. We expect to complete processes shortly to open up the new public education campaign division, which will feature the iconic green and yellow vans that I referred to earlier. It will be a useful tool in ensuring that word gets to the last mile about governance. Ladies and gentlemen, the launch of this project by the media division of the ISD forms an integral part of the reorganization and retooling program of the ISD. As you may be aware, a significant section of our population now relies on online platforms and other social media platforms for information. And we are very grateful to you, our colleagues in the media, for the good job that you do in providing information there. It is important, however, to note that some unscrupulous persons use some of these portals and social media platforms to propagate falsehood and misinformation. This phenomenon is gradually undermining our democracy, as it has done to democracies in other parts of the world. So the rollout of this website will, therefore, aid the department in fighting misinformation by providing direct information from ministries, departments, and agencies about the work of government and becoming a repository of all happenings in government. It will provide facts about government projects and programs, full texts of speeches by heads of MDAs, official communication and publications, policies and program documents to reduce the level of misrepresentation and sometimes outright misinformation online. I wish to thank the leadership of the ISD Media Division, the ISD in general, and the Information Ministry for developing all this important tool. As I've charged you earlier, platforms like this are only as useful as how regularly and accurately you update them. So work quickly and accurately to ensure that the Ghanaian citizen is reached with all the facts and the necessary documentation on government policies and programs as soon as possible. Do not wait until tomorrow. Do it now. To your PROs across the MDAs, it is your job to ensure that information and documents reach ISD media today, not tomorrow, so that they are published in good time. The usual delays in getting materials to your colleagues will only undermine the potential efficacy of this very useful tool. So get to work with speed and call for help if you need help with the bureaucracy in your ministries. To our colleagues in the media, we hope this becomes a useful tool that makes your all-important work easier. And to the general public, we ask you to reach out to that website. We'll roll out some communication associated with it if you want to validate the information about government works that you may come across. Let me conclude by thanking the management and staff of the ministry and the department for your work. And let me thank you, our friends, for joining us and attending upon our invitation today. And I hereby declare it formally launched. Thank you.